So welcome to the Starting Your Own Business podcast, recording with me, Dave Holland, over here in sunny France, and Sam Acton in the UK from Domestic Angel. Sam, good morning.
Good morning from very sunny south coast of England.
Is it sunny there as well?
Yeah, it's been ragingly hot the last couple of days. Apparently the forecast is to be somewhat cooler and cloudier the next couple of days going into the weekend.
For years.
Typical, isn't it?
Typical. Well, we're traveling to the UK on Thursday. I think we're going to bring the rain with us for the look of it.
Yeah, well, just stay there, would you? Just don't bring it over. Don't bother.
No, we can't. We have a very important package to deliver, as you know. And that package is going to be delivered this weekend. So anyway.
That sounds so dodgy.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so good to speak with you again. And a couple of questions have come through. People are sort of thinking about and being resonating with people right now. And I think one of the key ones, and for anybody starting their own business, whether you're starting from afresh or it's a side hustle, or you're considering franchising, whatever it is, one of the key things is, when does a business actually start to get moving and start getting sales and income and cash flowing coming in? How quick can you do that? I think I know what the answer may be, but what are your thoughts around that?
Well, actually, I was going to say, you've probably got far more experience, a broader range of experience than I can refer to, just because you have coached so many businesses over so many years.
Sure.
So you've probably watched a diverse range of businesses in a diverse range of sectors, run by diverse leadership personalities. And those are all factors that contribute to how quickly a business gets off the ground and how soon it maybe makes profit, because there are so many variables to it, and it can literally come down to personality type.
Absolutely.
Because somebody who's more cautious is going to make sure their ducks are all in a row before they tell anybody that there's a door to be open, whereas somebody like myself opens the door and then figures the rest out afterwards.
Hope for the best.
It's not just hope for the best, is it?
No.
Because you get a feel for business, and it's a lot to do with whether you trust yourself and have confidence in yourself and like yourself, and you get down to some of those really basic conversations, if you really want to dig into this, about what makes the character that gets the ducks in a row first or opens the door first. So I think that there is great variation across the industries. I can only really competently talk about my franchisees at the moment, that if they sign up, go through the legal process and are awarded franchise, they can start trading almost immediately, because everything's there, it's ready. It's the whole idea. You buy into a package. But I'm going to come to you to answer the broader question.
Okay. So I think it's a good point. And I think in my experience, first of all, anybody can start a business. And anybody can be successful in business, regardless of their personality or their circumstance. I think it comes down to approach and an attitude and mindset more than anything else. If you get that right, anybody can do it. And I've seen amazing people do amazing things as well. A couple of things that people get wrong, I suppose. I mean, the first thing is, and I do see this a lot, where somebody will come to me and say, look, I'm starting my business, I've left my job, or I'm leaving my job, or I'm planning to, and then I say typically something like, I've got 50,000 cash saved up, ready to go. And they say, what should I do with that 50,000 to guarantee my success and my results? And it's like, but if I had the answer to that, I would absolutely tell them. And I would just, I'd be a multi-billionaire by now. But my answer actually, what I've found a number of times is, it's almost get rid of the 50,000. And what I mean by that is don't just spend it. But what I found a number of times, people come into a business with an idea, with a comfort blanket or a cushion, and they can live for sort of, 6 months, 9 months on this 50K. And guess what happens? They spend the 50K thinking and wandering around. And when they start to get down to be tight on money, that's when they start their business. Actually, they either quit or they make the business work. And if this sort of heat, I think it's Grant Cardone that says, you got to stay hungry to get motivated to a certain extent. So if you come into business with a lot of money, it can be a good thing, providing you invest it in the business, not just live on it. That's absolutely fine. So watch out for this comfort blanket. It'll get tough as you go along. And the second thing that people tend to do, which is a good thing and maybe a negative thing, I'm not sure, is they have this date in their mind of, when do I get back to salary? When do I get back to earning what I earned in my previous job or role when I'm doing my own thing, whether it's business or franchise, whatever it is? and they just focus on that. And that's a real limitation if we're not very careful, because that builds a sort of scarcity approach. So I think those are the two sort of key mindset things. But I think for you and for me, you know, I've done three startups. My goodness, 3 startups, all worked just about. But the first 6 months, 12 months is probably the critical time, because that's when you're going to fall over, get it wrong, do the wrong thing. You're going to think about quitting. And a number of people now, and this, none of our clients, we may have come across this, that are thinking now, perhaps I should be a lorry driver in the UK now, because you know, it's just like an easier option to go. And it may well be, I'm not so sure, but I think it's having that grit and determination to do the right things. And it's going to start off with marketing, then it's selling, and then it's delivery. And we've got to be in the marketing and sales business before we're in the whatever business we choose to go into. So get good at that. And I remember I used to go to, when we started this business, was 20 years ago in the UK, I used to go to 4 BNI, business networking events a week. I was a size 10 back then. And of course, that's why. And it was networking. I was doing events. I was going to conferences, and genuine. And the famous phrase, I think, from a marketing point of view, I think it was David Ogilvy of Ogilvy and Mather, who says, I think 50% of my marketing budget is a complete waste of money, but I don't know which 50%. You know, so I've got to keep doing all of it, but to make it work. So get used to things not working immediately, but do lots of activity. Don't sit back on the cash that you've got. Speak to people. You know, go to a system that works. You know, if you're going to go to a network function and you've got a franchise, for example, it gives you a real head start rather than maybe starting it yourself. But if you're going to start it yourself, reach out to other people and find out what they're doing. Get busy. How quick can you do it? You can get a client on day one, and that can be a disaster. Actually, you get a client on day one in your business, and I've seen this happen as well. People go, that's it, got it cracked. This is easy now. All I need to do is wander around and clients are going to knock on my door. And it's 6 months before the next client comes in. So watch out for that. If you find a method of attracting clients, customers, leads, this sort of thing, build it up, stick to it, keep it going. I would think if you're in a B2B type service sector, no reason why you can't get your first client within a month. If you do the right things within a month, get your first client, and then grow reasonably gradually. Don't go mad, but keep that pace running. First client in a month, and get back to your sort of break-even point, if you like, within 3-4 months, and then you're into profit maybe 6 months onwards. Something like that would be a reasonable expectation, I would have thought.
There's some interesting points that you're touching on there, which is going into that human side of things that I referred to previously, and it's around the words confidence and risk.
Absolutely, yeah.
It occurs to me that the individual who likes to get all their ducks in a row is avoiding the risk and not displaying confidence, but actually it's maybe they're not displaying confidence in that sales and marketing arena that you have just said needs to be the main focus. And when you're doing sales and marketing, especially when you're doing your own business, you're talking about something that you've literally given birth to.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and as we all know, if you're a parent, your babies are just like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, and you are going to protect them, and God help anybody who criticizes them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you go into business, when somebody says, I'm not buying from you, it's like, they've criticized your baby, they've rejected it, how bloody dare they?
Absolutely.
And and putting yourself into that position is actually quite scary. And I wonder if those ducks in a row people prefer not to get involved in the sales and marketing side of things, because they're going to be having to deal with that feedback that is so precious and so sensitive. And I remember it so well. I still feel it today.
Of course,
I still feel it. And you know, you do harden to it over the years. You become much more pragmatic about it.
Sure.
But have you seen people literally throw in the towel because the sales and marketing is, well, they would say it's not their bag, but actually maybe it's down to the fact that they don't really have that confidence, that inbuilt defense system?
I think so. I think because what happens, and I think that happens for just about everybody, regardless of what business they choose to start. At some level, we're selling ourselves. You know, we are the business, we are the product, at least in the early days. And when you go to, you're selling yourself. Some people are okay with selling a product, do you want to buy my can of Coca-Cola or my Nike, or that's, they've got a brand to sort of stand behind. When it's us out there, that's where the rejection can really hit hard, because they're not saying they don't just like not the product or the service, but it's me, they don't like me. It's like a rejection of me. Well, how dare you? Because it is, we are our own products as well. So I think that sensitivity can hold people back. But the people who want the ducks on a line before they start, the sort of perfectionists, if you like,
yes,
it can be a good thing. If you're an accountant, for example, that can be a good thing to be an accountant. It's not the best trait to have when you're going to run an accounting business, however, or be an entrepreneur. I've seen more people fall over through sort of lack of activity due to the fact they want things to be perfect. Perfect website, the perfect logo, the perfect business card, of course, there's no such thing as perfect. There's no
what
such
about
thing.
when that word perfection is used as like stagnation, as in just, I can't think what the word
Procrastination.
is. Procrastination.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it. When it's procrastination, what about that?
Yeah, no, but I think this is the same sort of thing, where it's just I think perfectionism and procrastination are just elegant words that we use for fear of jumping into the unknown, or taking the risk, or doing something that might get rejected, or that might be judged by other people. And people do have this fear. You can see it maybe on social media. People are so quiet on social media, not putting out their ideas and their thoughts and observations for fear of things coming back. And the excuse they'll use is, I'm thinking about doing it right, or I'm going to do the best possible blog or video or photograph, this sort of thing. And I think it's just fear showing up. So one of the things, the common thread, I think, of a lot of entrepreneur business owners is they're not fearless, but they are certainly able to deal with it better. They get on with it anyway, feel the fear and do it anyway, that type of thing. We're all scared.
But they're not fearless, but they fear less.
Absolutely, yes, there you go.
Okay, and the fear is around risk.
Yeah.
Now, it occurs to me that this is reduced by understanding that we all take risks all the time in life.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some really basic examples at the moment, but I can't.
We're getting married for a start. So.
Yeah, that's a risk, but loads of people do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's, if you understand that nearly everything we do, even going out the front door, is a risk.
Indeed.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You genuinely don't. You know what you're planning to happen, but you don't actually know what's going to happen. Actually, that's a really good analogy as to what happens in business, isn't it? You plan for something to happen, you go out the front door, and something else completely different happens. but that's okay. We just embrace it, and embracing the fact that we are taking risks all of the time. Absolutely. But risks aren't necessarily risky.
No, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I think the emotion, fear, for me, and I think I sense it maybe for yourself and other people on the journey, if you like, fear and excitement is the same emotion, like a roller coaster,
Oh, it is. It's how you interpret it. And it's really important. This comes to your reference to mindset.
Yeah.
If your mindset sees things like that, it's like, oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be a change. What's going to happen? I wonder how we can use this to an advantage, or how we can give advantage to other people. Then it's really exciting. And there's somebody very, very close to me in my family who doesn't have that mindset. It's completely the other way.
Right.
Yeah. And it's so sad because I really have to avoid having conversations with that person sometimes, because I can't. Who you surround yourself with is really important, because the other people around you will hinder your mindset.
Yeah, exactly right.
I am particularly positive.
Yeah.
And I particularly have that exciting feeling rather than that fear feeling. Indeed. I know that's my propensity.
Yeah.
But I remember years ago, I was maybe 4 or 5 years into the business, and people who are really important in my life actually said, no, you're being selfish what you're doing. You shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, oh my goodness. And you have to prepare yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh, you can't prepare yourself for this because you don't expect the people who are closest to you to do this.
No, that's a good point. Very good point.
Heard me say it out loud that this does happen. When it happens, you'll go, oh yeah, this happens.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes sense now. It makes sense. Yeah. And I think because there's an attitude to risk, because things that other people see as risk not a risk to me and to you and other people as well.
It's
It is
their fear,
opportunity.
not your fear.
There you go. Exactly. Be careful what you absorb in. And that's why I think it's so important to hang around with other business owner types and entrepreneurs, whether it's through a networking or group, because it rubs off, it rubs off on us.
Absolutely, it does. But then you see, I'm going to reference now what you were saying about how you were going out to all these networking events and stuff. And I did put in the legwork in the early days. And what I found, I learned from it really, really well, was my elevator pitch.
Yeah.
I couldn't actually hang anything on a hook about how much business I actually brought in from doing that. But I did that, and I met an awful lot of people. But I actually walked away from it on the basis that those people were far more limited than I wanted to be, and they only wanted to go to those fixed networking events with those fixed structures. Whereas I do like fluidity. I like meeting lots of different people. I like no rules is the best as far as I'm concerned. And so you need to then move on to find your tribe elsewhere. Other people who really, for me, aren't interested in those kind of structures, those kind of limitations or restrictions. So it's important to choose the right way of networking. And I think networking is a verb that has been pigeonholed.
Yes, agreed.
Into these particular events. But we're having a networking event. It's at 12 o'clock. And okay, so yes, some of the worst ones, I have to say, were when you had to sit for lunch, and because I was new in business, somehow I'd found myself surrounded with at least 4 solicitors and 2 accountants who were sharking for your money.
Absolutely, exactly. Lots of sellers, not a lot of buyers.
Except I didn't have any money because I'd only really just started the business. And I think that's one of the things that really horrified me about the networking world, is an awful lot of sellers rather than buyers, and people saying, oh, well, you should farm out, contract out your work. The things that you don't want to do, contract them out. So suddenly your costs are going up because the networking community is telling you this. But your income's not going up at all.
Oh, exactly. That's right. No, exactly.
And I find that a very scary conflict, and one that I feel, getting back to our original questions about how fast do you get the business off the ground, one that has decimated businesses that could have been perfectly reasonable and perfectly good, because the victim actually was vulnerable and didn't have the confidence to say, no, I'm just going to learn it for myself. I'm going to do it for myself. So one of the things I did in the early days is I went along to HMRC on a training day to learn how to run the wage roll. Okay, so this is the lady who really struggled to scrape a maths O level, and I'm not. Whilst I really, really love and appreciate detail, doing the detail myself is just get the Puritan out. It's not a place. And I sat there, and it was in the days before we would have had laptops there. It was big sheets of paper, pencils, rubber. I'm very pleased to say I'm still very good friends with the trainer from that day. She's a lovely, lovely lady. And I learned how to do it. And so each month, I mean, you don't have much of a wage roll in the early days, so why not do it yourself, so you know how it works and you've got an understanding of how it operates? Because then when I contracted it out, which was probably actually after about 2 years, whenever the wage roll came in from the contractor, I could check it, because you still have to check it and sign it off. It's still your responsibility.
Absolutely.
I could spot a mistake at 1,000 paces. Whether I could still do that today, I don't know. Sometimes I want to do it. But I think it's really important to try and learn some of these disciplines rather than pay out the money that you actually haven't got, or chipping away at that 50,000 that you talked about. Which could still be putting food on your table while you build your confidence in the sales and marketing arena.
That's a great point. I think that the people, especially, and this is people that come from corporate, and there's lots of them, there's no barrier to going into your own business, but so I know I'm being very careful what I say, but sometimes some people, anyway, no, but they come out of corporate where there's a sort of when they get into their own business, out of their computer with a mug of coffee and a keyboard, they're going, right, I'm in business, I need some marketing. Where's the marketing team? Oh, that's me. I need everything's them, and they haven't got team around them. And they can then, as you say, they start to hire people to do all this stuff and do the web and the social media and this and that. And that 50 grand evaporates like that. And the other thing that they may do, and I've seen this a number of times, not too often, thank goodness, is they go, I'm in business, I've got my own business, I deserve the Range Rover. And the first thing they do is lease a Range Rover before they lease an office, It's like, really? And that's probably too much heat to go for. So just watch out for that. You've got to start off in the dirt a little bit and build your way up to the range, if that's what you want.
Yes.
Build up to the Range
And
Rover.
that comes on to those people that we were talking about, where it's their fears, not your fears.
Absolutely.
Their perceptions, not your perceptions. Yeah. So there be the perceptions of other people is that, oh, you're in business and you're successful. Why haven't you got the Range Rover? Why haven't you got the big house? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Well, because I prefer to feed myself, actually.
Exactly, that's right. Exactly. Yes.
Let's have a think about that.
It's strange, I think, in the UK, and there's one of the differences between the UK and maybe over here in sort of Luxembourg, there does seem to be more of an expectation that people in business or entrepreneurs have the big cars. Some of the richest people I know in Luxembourg, they drive a Peugeot 106. They don't care. They may have a Porsche in the garage, whatever it is, but they really don't care. They're not, the badges and buttons aren't quite as, whereas the UK tends to be slightly more.
It is a big problem over here, and it filters throughout our society in the way that we perceive and value different job roles and different achievements, and it's not right.
Agreed.
It's absolutely not right. If you need to have a big Range Rover to show that you're successful,
there's something wrong. It's not right. To me, it's just the sort of thing. I look at people, and anybody who drives a Range Rover watching this, forgive me. Anybody driving a Range Rover, I always wonder.
What are you gonna say?
Okay, wait. It's like, did it? Because again, for me, we don't have the Range Rovers. We have nice vehicles, that sort of thing. But we own all our cars. There's no HP, I have no debt, no credit card, no loans, nothing on them, and just my car. I drive it and away we go. In the case, it's all right and it's a nice car. But I look at people in these big cars and I wonder, who's paying for that? Do they pay for it cash? Was it on a lease? Whatever it is. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't actually bought it at all. It's just part of the shell, part of the bling. Now, anybody listening to this who's bought their own Range Rover for cash, my apologies. Good for you. But just as I'll use it as an example. That was all. We get emails now, won't we?
Yeah,
this is angry from Andover. I'll go.
Me and my Range Rover.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the definition of success is not defined by your Range Rover.
No.
And there is a problem with what success is in this country, and I feel that maybe hinders some really great potential in the SME sector, or micro business sector as well, thinking, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to get that far. Very few of them do get that far. It is false.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
Success is being able to live life on your own terms and be happy on your own terms. And you can do that with your own business. Absolutely. Did you see the piece in the news today? A lady won a court case. She was an estate agent, I think. I can't remember which agency. That's probably a good thing.
Probably a good thing for copyright.
Yeah, probably a good thing, given that we're live. Because as an employee, she requested some flexibility in her contracted hours so that she could pick her daughter up from nursery.
Right, okay.
And the employer refused. Now that's not living life or being happy on your own terms. So absolutely. I hope that that lady will go into business for herself and set the standards correctly for other people, in particular parents, who really need that flexibility. It doesn't mean you do less work, you just do it on your own terms.
You do it on your own terms, exactly right.
Yeah.
I think success, and I think that the people out there, and this is not criticism again, there's the Grant Cardones of this world who I see all over YouTube and I see on social media, and these big events. I think his phrase is, "We're going to 10x your business, we're going to 10x you this and do that." Think big, and people go along to these places, and I'm pretty sure they come out there thinking, "This is it, going to write 10x." And how many people actually do it? And the other question is, how many people actually need to do it? You don't need to 10x your business to be happy and successful. Successful is, having Fridays off and sitting in the garden with the kids. That's success, if that's the currency that you choose to have it in. And I think that's something that people need to be aware of. Be really clear, why are you doing it? What does success look like? And when you get to that level, not throttle back, but you're okay, you can stay there. It's okay to hold
I
a pattern of a
completely
lifetime.
agree with you. Certainly when the family was younger,
Yeah,
having those Fridays clear, in fact, it was tended to be from Thursday lunchtime,
yeah,
having that time clear to, because my husband's in full-time employment, so he
sure.
didn't have that flexibility. But for having that time so that I can get the shopping in, do whatever admin needs doing for the house, getting everything set and straight for the weekend. So we could
Yep,
max out the weekend with uh, kids' hobbies and activities and seeing friends and family.
yep,
And if there was picnics to be taken, it was all sorted as if by magic. So
absolutely.
there was less stress and max happiness.
Yep,
That was so important to me. Yes, it meant that I limited my income potential for
yeah,
certain years, but hey, actually, in the long run, that didn't matter. In fact, with son number one going to university, it really, really helped because the income was lower. And
sure.
so when he had his money assessments,
Yeah,
supports, he got the maximum awards because
right. Okay, there you go. So
so
improved, quite efficient,
yeah, it proved
as
out to
well for
be,
you.
yeah. I didn't plan that one, but it is what happened. So
No,
yeah, don't get hung up on the everything. It's
no.
not all about growth, growth, growth. That
Agreed.
is
Agreed.
so not. Growth can be about growing you as a person.
Yep,
And let's face it, in the last 18 months, I know I've grown as a person in
sure.
terms of leadership and my confidence and how
Hmm.
I assert myself in the business. And those things are all happening for a reason, for
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what it is that's coming, but it will be great fun.
The thing is, again, it is an interesting point, because as your confidence grows, or everybody's confidence grows, and we have that level of certainty and ability, the results tend to follow through. They do. We get the confidence first and do the right things. The numbers come in as a consequence of that. And I mean, look at domestic angels during the lockdown. I know you're not going to give the actual numbers out. I wouldn't expect you to, but there's been a dramatic increase in the business, even during this lockdown period, but I sense you're not work. You haven't, your week hasn't doubled in hours, if you like. The right things are happening. Great team, great systems, this sort of thing. The confidence is there. The business moves forwards. And then when you're in startup mode, it's important to realize that, to have that level of confidence and certainty. And the number, it'll happen. You do the right things, the numbers come along. They just do. They just do.
Yeah, absolutely. And trying to talk to other parents who are startups is quite
Yeah.
important. I'm parents because I'm doing a parenting
Yeah. No, but
forum
absolutely. Yes.
live.
Most of us are at some level.
Yeah, but I do think it does come down to surrounding yourself with the right people. And if you can't find the right people, find the right books.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Yes.
Have you? We should recommend that book called Alchemy.
Yes. Isn't it fabulous, by Rory Sutherland?
Yeah.
Gold one.
I happen to have it here actually.
There you
Look,
go.
this one here is that back to front, I suppose, isn't it?
It's no, it's okay. It's a bit shiny, but there you go. Rory Sutherland.
Yeah, that is a really good way of understanding how business works.
Isn't it just? Absolutely right. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the psychology of it and that sort of thing. But I recommend it. Absolutely right. Absolutely.
yeah. Get yourself a good big dollop of business alchemy.
So I think so. In answer to that question, and overall, then by the sound of it, I think so it's mindset, its approach, its fear or excitement, getting busy, getting on with things, and also, and I guess, as a final sort of point on this one, I guess it's really enjoy the ride. Don't wait until you get to whatever it is in 5 years' time to have fun with the business. Being in business should be fun. It should be engaging, exciting, scary, all these sort of things. But it is a real fabulous journey. So enjoy the ride and have fun with it, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah.
Fabulous. Sam, it's been a pleasure. I think our half an hour is pretty much up now. So anybody listening, watching, apologies again to all the Range Rover drivers over there in the UK or anywhere else in the world. But we will see you next time round. Thank you for listening. Any questions, please send them through to either Sam or myself. We'll log them away. Look forward to updates, and we'll see you on the next chapter real soon. But bye for now.
Thank you.